In this video, we will discuss how to form the perfect tense in the subjunctive mood. Let's start with a quick example. Cum filius domum rediveret, mater laeta est. You might recognize the first part of the sentence as a cum clause, where the verb is rediveret and the subject is filius. The main part of the sentence, est is the verb and mater is the subject. So we translate this as, since her son, Filius, has returned home, the mother is happy. Now, the word rediveret is in the perfect tense of the subjunctive. It is in the subjunctive because we are in a cum clause, and it is perfect tense to show a time relationship with the main sentence. You might notice here that we form the perfect subjunctive using the perfect stem from the third principal part. We use the key letters ERI, and we use the regular personal endings, which include T. Let's look at a full chart. We'll start with the verb amo, amare, amavi, amatum. And we'll use, like I said, the third principal part to get our perfect stem, which is amav. And then we add the letters, key letters, ERI. And then to this, we will just add our standard personal endings. So our first singular is amawerim. And then we simply apply the other personal endings. Amawerim, amaweris, amaweret, amawerimus, amaweritis, amawerint. This will be the same when we move to another verb. For example, facio, facere, faci, factum, to do or to make. So our first person singular will be facerim. Again, we use the third pencil part to get the perfect stem, fake. Then we use the letters ERI to indicate the perfect active subjunctive, and then we use a personal ending, M. And then apply the other personal endings. Facerim, faceris, faceret, facerimus, faceritis, facerint. And so let's sum up the perfect active subjunctive. The rule for forming the perfect active subjunctive is to take the perfect stem, add the letters ERI, and then add a personal ending. So, for example, we have seen amawerim, amaweris, amaweret. We've also seen facerim, faceris, faceret. And as with most verbs in the subjunctive mood, it's impossible to translate them outside of context. So the translation of the perfect active subjunctive will depend on the context of the sentence and the passage. Now, you might be saying, this looks really familiar. We've used a formation very much like this before. And you would be right. We've seen something very similar in the future perfect active indicative. This was the perfect stem from the third principal part. For the most part, we then added the future tense of the verb to be. Ero, eris, erit, eremos, eritis, erunt. The one change was in the third person plural, amawerint instead of amawerunt. So keep in mind the place where the future perfect indicative is different from the perfect subjunctive is in the first person singular. The perfect subjunctive would use ERI plus a personal ending, but the future perfect indicative uses ERO. Now, can this get confusing? Yeah, sometimes. But you'll need to use the context to tell you which one makes more sense. So let's go back to that example from the beginning. Cum filius domum rediveret, mater laeta est. So you might say at first, rediveret. That looks like a future perfect indicative. And so we can translate it as a future perfect indicative, which would turn out to be, since her son will have returned home, the mother is happy. Now you read that sentence back and say, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. when her son, or since her son will have returned home sometime in the future, the mother is presently happy. So this one doesn't make any sense. And so try instead thinking of it as a perfect subjunctive. Since her son has already, sometime in the past, returned home, presently the mother is happy.